Hey everyone, let me know if you can see and hear me. Can you hear me? Hopefully. Holy moly, I can't even keep up with the chat for some reason. Does anyone else's bar just keep scrolling up? I don't know if anyone can hear me, so someone private message me and let me know. Yay! Awesome. So I'm just going to wait a minute because I can already tell it's a little wonky right now. So I'll just wait a short time here. Sweet. It is one of my favorite words. I'll tell Garrett you said happy birthday. He's not around right now. He's hiding in the other room with the kids, trying to keep them quiet for this. Oh, this paper is from my new line of Prima called Romance Novel. This one's called Emotion. This is my favorite one, but I always change my mind. Sorry, the lighting's really bad in here right now because I have to do this show from home because, unfortunately, at the studio, the internet there is not so great right now, so we have to get some new internet service over there. So I have to do it at home, so it's not that great of lighting, but I think you guys will be able to see for this one show pretty good. Oh, my story on Facebook, that was crazy. That was just sad today. I'm going to wait 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. What they're talking about is me and Garrett and the kids pulled up to the studio this morning and there was a homeless guy outside sitting on our bench. And he looked really angry, but I guess it was just because it was really hot outside. And so he comes walking up and he says, he's like yelling something to us up through the window. So Garrett's like freaked out and I'm freaked out. So Garrett jumps out of the car and he's like, "What's up?" And the guy goes, "You're a hard man to track down." And it was just odd, like the way he had said it. So I'm sitting there watching it and all of a sudden he reaches into his pocket and pulls out Garrett's wallet that had been missing for like 3 days. Oh, and I got nervous when I saw him reach into his pocket because I didn't know if he had a knife or if we were going to get mugged because it was early in the morning and nobody was around. It was scary, but nope, it was his wallet. I guess he had picked it up. He found it on the ground outside our studio and didn't know who it belonged to, but he looked at the driver's license and obviously we're from California. And so he looked for the only car that had California license plate and he had been looking for us for like 3 days. So we were really, really happy, but we felt really, really bad thinking that he was a questionable character, but he wasn't, so it was pretty cool. Never judge a book by its cover. Yeah, and I was so upset because I didn't have any cash in my purse or anything, and Garrett got his name. And we were about to tell him to come back tomorrow or later on tonight so we can give him some money or something good for returning it. But when we turned around, he was gone. I kid you not. He was completely gone. And we turned to the corner looking for him, and we could not find him. So it was like kind of disappointing. But I think he's a regular downtown, so hopefully we'll see him again. Maybe that's my missing phone. I'm pretty sure he's not going to know what to do with any Prima stuff. Alright, let's see what time it is. I think we're okay to start. There's not a whole lot of people on here just yet. So, I feel really, really, really bad because, as you guys know, we just moved into a new studio in Texas, and I found everything except for the darn mask that I used to do the original layout, and I couldn't even find the original layout because everything is just in shambles. I'm not kidding. I cannot find anything in that place. We haven't unpacked hardly anything. So, I could not find my original layout, and I couldn't find the darn mask that I used to put the texture paste on. So I'm going to improvise tonight. But hopefully, Carrie, if you have a link to what the mask looks like so everyone can see, it's so beautiful. And it's by Donna Downey, and it's got peonies all over it. It's just, oh, I want it so bad. And that was the only one I had. So hint, hint, Carrie, I need a new Donna Downey peony mask. Poppies and Peonies, that's what it's called. It was gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So before we get started, I gotta tell you guys about something super exciting that's coming up in January 2013. We're having a art venture. Hang on, I gotta get my notes out here before I totally mess this up because my mind is in a fog right now. Alright, Rebecca, where's your email? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So we're doing an art adventure with Lisa Gibbons. I'm sure you guys know her. She's a huge celebrity, huge news correspondent, so she's really cool. So it's called Art Venture. It's in January, and a bunch of us are going to be teaching there. I think there's 6 teachers total. Lisa's going to be there chatting it up with everybody, and we're going to have fabulous, fabulous classes all weekend long, and it's at this awesome retreat or resort in Palm Springs, so this is your chance to get a good vacation for Christmas. So I'm going to be teaching some classes. Heidi Swap's going to be there teaching. I think Nick Howard, Janine, I'm going to totally butcher her last name. Is it Kakswara? I probably butchered that. Sorry, Janine, if you're watching this. If I get someone wrong, I know I'm missing a few more. Oh, Anna Dabrowska, she's awesome. You're going to love her too. Just a bunch of awesome Prima educators. So you gotta come. It's gonna be a really super fun weekend, and all of us girls are super crazy and addicted to scrapbooking, and there's always tons of prizes. And if you guys have ever been to a Prima retreat before, Prima decks out their goodie bags. I'm not kidding. Everybody that goes to the retreat is going to get a goodie bag full of stuff. And I'll tell you what, it never fails. Every time we do something with Prima, they'll deck out the goodie bags, and then at the last minute, like the very last day, the owner of Prima will say, no, we gotta put more stuff in the goodie bags. We gotta put more stuff in the goodie bags. She'll load them up even more. And it never fails. She does that every single time. I'm not kidding. So it's a lot of fun. And Carrie just posted the link to register, and they do have a payment plan, which is awesome, so you have plenty of time to pay little by little to get in there. So I hope to see some of you guys there. I cannot wait. I'm going to be teaching a class, a mini album class with my romance novel line. And then also, thanks Carrie for reminding me about the romance novel line. It completely sold out. It was Prima's bestseller this summer, so I'm really, really, really excited. But we had a lot of angry people that didn't get to have it or didn't get enough of it. So Prima's bringing it back. So we've got the romance novel line back into production, and a ton of it is coming back. So you should be all set there. So make sure you check your retailers to see if they've got it in stock, or email your favorite retailers and let them know that you want it. If you don't have one near you, or you don't shop online too much, I've got pre-order grab bags for it on my website at marionsmithdesigns.com that you can get there. But I really, really would prefer that you go to your retailers and get it, because it'll just be so much easier and you can get it right away and all that good stuff. But if you can't find it and I'm your last resort, then you can go ahead and go there. So super excited. And am I forgetting anything, Carrie? I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, stores, you can order the romance novel line right now and have your stash reserved. So make sure you do that, and hopefully we'll get plenty back in stock so that we don't miss out like last time. And the A4 pads are coming back in. That was a huge deal this year for some reason. So A4 pads are coming back in all the papers and most of the embellishments. So I think we're all set. So one more time, I'm going to remind you that I could not find the peony mask that comes with this. So if we could post a link to Donna Downey's Peonies and Poppies mask so everyone can see, that would be perfect. I'm going to improvise since I can't find it. I'm totally bummed because I really, really love it. It's probably my favorite mask that Prima's come out with so far. Other than, oh, I really like the polka dot one. That one was super cute too. So, okay, I'm going to show you what's in the kit. In the kit, you're going to get this pattern paper. This is the Emotion pattern paper for my romance novel line. You're going to get some of Ingvild's awesome clock pieces and the clock hands. Before I forget, I don't have them because everything is just a mess right now. So you're going to get some clocks and clock hands, and we're going to use these gorgeous flowers with metal and rhinestones in the center. They're so pretty. And then you're going to get the Vintage Trinkets stick pins from the romance novel line as well. And I've only got 2 left because I used the other ones on the original layout. But you can see a picture of the original layout on the Live with Prima Facebook page. So we're going to use the bike one today and the stamp one. Or actually, is this the one from romance novel? I think it is. Okay, so there's that. And then I think we used some of Ingvild's Shabby Chic Treasures, the little birds. These are so cool. You guys are going to love these. You can do so much stuff with these. Oh, Carrie, we got to do Christmas ornaments with these birds. They'll be so cute. So there's those, and then this thing is ridiculous. Okay, this is the Resist Canvas die cut pieces, and there's 37 pieces in here, guys. It's insane. I only used 1 piece on the layout, so this could last you 37 pieces. Or 37 layouts, sorry. And then we're also going to use, I can't remember what these are called, but some of these white Prima flowers that are wired. I'm so happy that Prima came back with some of these classic style flowers because I love, love, love the wired flowers that Prima has. So we've got those. And then you're also going to need some Glimmer Mist. The Glimmer Mist that I'm using tonight are Starfish and Rose Tea. So you got to have some Tired Angels Glimmer Mist. And I've got some drywall tape that I love using. You guys see me use that a lot. You're going to need a palette knife, paintbrush, and some super awesome glue from Fabri-Tac, or from Beacon. It's called Fabri-Tac, sorry. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to get started by showing you how I use, and then you're going to need some paste. You can use any kind of texture paste from Golden or just anyone that makes it. I'm using some homemade goodie stuff, so I'm going to put it in this little Prima jar lid. So I've got some paste. So you can make this by using like plaster of Paris with a little bit of glue, and I think we're in a commercial now. So you can use this with a little bit of glue, and it gets a little, if it gets hard or chunky, you can grind it right back up and add some more glue to it. So I'm just making mine nice and soft, and you got to use it right away. So this is how you would normally use this, is you would take your Prima mask and lay it down onto the paper, and then you would take this and you would smooth it out nice and neat onto your paper over the mask, and then you'd try to get as thick of a layer on there as you possibly can. I would say no more than a 1/4 inch, obviously, because that would just be ridiculous. And then you just lift off the mask, and then your image would be on there, but it would be a textury paste. So since I don't have my mask, I'm going to attempt to make some flowers on here without my mask. So I'm just going to use the end of my palette knife, and I'm working upside down, so bear with me on this one. So I'm kind of just going to make some petals. This would be so much easier if I had that darn mask. but I don't, so I'm going to work with what I got. So you don't want it to be too thick because you want it to be able to dry. This stuff, and like I said, this is homemade stuff, so you got to make sure you apply it really quick if you're using plaster. If you're not, you can also make your own paste with like talcum powder and some glue if you want to. This is looking horrid, but that's alright. You can use like crushed chalk and glue. You can use just about anything you want. And most of this is going to be covered as kind of just something extra. And I'm working really fast because you can see that my paste is already stiffening because that's what plaster of Paris is supposed to do. It's supposed to get hard pretty quick, but it'll stay soft for quite a bit longer. So I'm kind of just making a little corner here right now. Just making my big old flowers. So they're not nearly close to perfect, but it's all good. I'll make a little bit smaller of one here. And I'm just turning my page as I go. I wish you guys could see. If Carrie posts a link to the Peony mask, go to it and make sure you check it out because it's so cool. It's awesome. Alright, so there it is. There's some flowers. Looks nothing like the gorgeous Prima mask, but it's good enough. Now, while this is still pretty wet, you're going to take your Glimmer Mist, and you're going to use the lighter color first. I'm using the Rose Tea first. And you can use this paste on wax paper and peel it off after and use it as embellishments too, which is kind of cool. But they get very brittle, so probably not a good idea. And if you're going to do that, you got to use more glue. So I'm going to spray my flowers with the Glimmer Mist while it's still wet. This is Rose Tea, so it has kind of a dingy pink color to it, but I like how it looks once it sinks into the cracks. So I tend to use this one a lot when I use paste. Let's get a little bit more on there. And then I'm going to do the starfish in the middle. Alright. So it looks really dingy on camera because I have a lot of yellow in my light. But I'll show you what it looks like up close real quick. Alright, so now you are going to get your drywall tape, and I use the drywall tape as a photo mat. So let me find the end piece here. Oh, come on now. If I could just find the end piece, I'd be all good, but I can't find it. That's the one thing about this drywall tape. If you lose that end, it's like really hard to find. Alright, here it is. Alright, so I'm just going to guesstimate, since I don't have a picture, what my photo map's going to look like. Oh, where's my scissors? Oops, hang on guys, sorry. Alright, so the picture I used on the original layout was a 4x6. So while I'm doing this whole layout while everything is still wet. So I'm going to stick this down. And the cool thing about the adhesive on this drywall tape is it works while wet. So you can still use it when it's wet. So I'm just laying down my photo mat area. Notice I'm not smashing the texture I laid out on there, but I am laying it over the texture because this is so subtle that I really want it to show as much as I can get it to show. Alright, my last piece, so you can see it kind of looks like grid. Just add something a little different and grungy to your project. And then now I'm going to build my flowers around there. You can put a little photo mat down if you want to. I've got some little craft pieces cut out, so I think I'm going to cut this out a little bit and stick it on there just for something a little different. I always like to do something a little bit different than the original, but still the same so you still know how to do it. So this is just craft paper that I cut into a little pennant, banner piece, and I'm just going to tear off that extra edge, and then I'm going to glue it down right about there, and then you would add your picture on top of that later. Ah! Why did my top come off my glue here? The drywall tape has a very light adhesive to it, so don't expect it to stick down and stay down. You're going to have to add glue over it. So when you glue your picture down, the glue is going to seep through that drywall tape, so keep that in mind. And of course, it's most likely not archival quality, but I still think it's actually acid-free because it goes in your wall. I mean, you wouldn't want something to eat through your wall. But I don't know for sure, so couldn't tell you. Alright, so I'm going to tack that down. Let me try and get a good view here. There's a little bit of a delay from where I'm watching, so I'm trying to make this good on here. Alright, so it's really hard to see the drywall tape, but in person you can see it really well, and it's kind of just like a cool little effect. So now I'm going to start building my flowers, and here I'm going to start with my black flowers. And we're going to use 3 of these. So take 3 of these out. And we're going to tear them up a little bit. But I want to show you guys these up close because they're super, super cute. You can kind of see. So they've got little metal, what are they called? What are they called? I can't even think of them. Anyway, it's kind of like metal chain with really pretty crystal rhinestones in them, and you can see they really, really sparkle a lot. So that's on there. And then for the first one, you're going to tear off the first layer, and we're going to kind of fill in these gaps a little bit. So you're going to tear off the first layer just like that. And on the second one, you're going to tear off the first 2 layers. So we're just making some smaller sized flowers here. And keep these pieces that you're tearing off because you can use those later for something. So, you see? Look how pretty. Keep those. So I'm just straightening out my petals a little bit. Oops. And I accidentally took that one off, so I got to re-glue it really quick. Sorry. Alright. So this one I'm going to glue down right about there. And the cool thing about this fabric tack stuff is most of the time you can glue this down right over a wet surface and it's not going to ruin anything. And then this little one I'm going to tack right up here in the middle of this flower. I'm going to be careful not to scoop up any of that paste because it's almost dry but not quite. And then this large one's going to go right in here, a little bit off center, kind of right there. And you can add more of these if you want to. If you want to do all black, you do all black, but we're going to glimmer mist some of these other flowers, and I got a little bit of white paste on there. And that one's going to go right about there. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside for just a minute. And we're going to get these flowers out so we can mist these. And you can use as many of these as you like. I'm just going to mist a bunch of them. Or actually, I want to see how many I'm going to need. So just kind of guess where they're going to go on your layout and then work from there. And I think I'm going to do 2 there, and then 1 down there. So I'm using 5 for now. And I'm just going to spray them on this plastic sheet right now. I've got a makeshift studio in here tonight. Alright, so what you do is you open up your wired flowers like this. You're going to want to open all of them. Just like that. So we want to open them really, really big. As big as they go. And then you're going to spray them. I'm going to spray them with the rose tea first, really lightly, right in the middle. So you can kind of see how that one's turning out. So really light, sort of dingy pink. And you can use any color Glimmer Mist you like. Go a little closer in there if you want. Only takes a couple of little squirts. So I'm going to do this one a little bit darker, just so the flowers are a little bit different. So there's a little bit darker of one. Now I'm going to go in with the starfish, shake it up really good so all that clumpy stuff at the bottom doesn't go up my straw. Now I'm going to get really close and I'm going to spray right in the middle. So something like that. I'm going to do each flower just a little bit different each time. And the last one I'm going to leave light. Well, actually I may just do a little spray in the middle, just so it matches all the other ones a little bit. And then I'm going to take the same rose buds and I want to use, this time I'm not going to open them, or I'm not going to open it, and I'm actually just going to make a smaller bud by peeling off some of the layers. So I'm going to take the first 2 bottom layers, and you guys have seen me do this with the little mini roses too, and I'm going to peel off the bottom. So I'm kind of pulling out the middle to make a little bud like this. And then I'm going to pull the backing off the flower as well so that I can put that on my bud. Alright, and then I'm going to stick a dot of glue. And I'm going to shove my wire right back into there. And then I'm going to hold the little backing around my bud, because I'm making a little rose bud. So I'm just holding it together for a few seconds so those leaves will stay up. So can you see I just made a cute little rose bud? And I'm going to spray that so it matches. Actually, I'm going to spray this one with the starfish only, because rose buds tend to be a little darker. And I'm only spraying in the middle because I don't really want to drench the green part, even though it's kind of inevitable sometimes that that green part is going to get color on it. So I've got a nice little dark rose bud, and I'm going to make a few more of those. So once again, we're pulling off the first 2 layers on the back, the first 2 layers of petals. And you'll see them when you start to open them up. You can tell right where they are. And actually, for this one, I think I'm just going to do 1, just so I can get a little bit bigger of a bud. And then peeling off the back, too, on here. Come on off of there. Alright. And you can even, this time, just so I don't get my wire all gooey, even though it didn't really get gooey the first time, I'm just going to put the glue on the butt of the little rose bud there instead of on the green piece. I'm just going to thread my wire right back through that hole that's already there. So we're going to hold this in place just like that. I'm holding it down. Alright. And then I'm going to spray it with the starfish color again, really close, just to contain the spray a little bit better. This one has really pretty glimmer in it. Alright, so dark rosebud, and then 1 more of these, and a tiny one, and then I'll stick these guys in my layout. I never do layouts anymore. The last 2 shows I've done layouts because I never do layouts anymore, but I wanted some pieces up for on my wall at the new studio, so I figured I better do some layouts. But my next show, I'm planning a mini book, so stay tuned for that one, guys, gals, ladies. Alright, and I'm going to thread my wire through again. Come on now. There we go. And holding my leaves up. Alright, so I've glued it all up. Oh, and I wanted to remind you guys, or tell you guys, that I'm going to be teaching at my new studio. If you're in the Texas area, anyone from Texas in here tonight? I'm going to be teaching at the new studio on November 9th and 10th. It's a little weekend retreat, and we're going to do 3 classes. We're going to have a crop, and then there's going to be a game and prize extravaganza on Saturday, where we spend a full hour playing games and winning prizes. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So there's 3 classes, and there's going to be a candy bar and all that good stuff. So there's my flowers, and I'm going to be using my new romance novel line, too, for that. Alright, so if you look at my layout now, the paste is almost all the way dry, so you can see the flowers have lightened up quite a bit. When this is completely dry, this paste will completely crackle. So once it crackles, and when I mean crack, like it severely cracks. There's going to be cracks all over those flowers. So what you do, because this paste does not act as an adhesive, you're going to want to seal that with a matte multi-medium or a glossy medium, depending on what you like. I always use a matte multi-medium, and I cover the whole thing to seal it off so it doesn't flake off of there. So keep that in mind. It's going to crack. Right now, it's not cracking just yet because it's not all the way dry, but you can see how the color is starting to change and it's getting a little bit softer because it's now starting to dry. So here's all my little flowers. I'm going to add these in there, and I'm going to be really ginger with them because they are still a little damp, and normally I would dry them first, but that takes so long, so I'm just going to glue them down like they are. But before I'm not going to cut my wires off. I'm actually going to curl them with my paintbrush handle here because I think they're really cute when you've got little curly cues hanging off. So I'm curling my wires. And then you're going to kind of stretch your wires out a little bit. And I'm going to glue them right down to here, or this one at least. So get a good glob of glue going on the back there. And that one's going to be glued down right here. And I don't want to smash my flower because, like I said, it's still wet, so I'm using my paintbrush handle to glue it down a little bit better for me. And I'm going to do a couple right down in here. So I'm bending my wire again. Yes, the art venture is in California, in Palm Springs. That's in January. That's going to be so awesome, guys. I can't wait. That's going to glue down right here. Aren't these flowers pretty? Look how pretty they are. I love these. And you get a whole bunch, too. So get a good glob of glue down there. And I'm going to have this wire go out like this. And hold that down. Alright, so I'm just moving the petals up. So I'm doing my large flowers first. I'm going to do another one right in there, I think. And I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. Yep, this is Rose Tea and Starfish Glimmer Mist. But you can use whatever color you like that matches the line, or even if it doesn't match the line, who cares? Add a little pop, be a little adventurous sometimes. No one's going to judge you. Alright, we're going to spread that out a little bit. I know, Starfish is so pretty. It's pink, like a dark pinkish red or a corally color, and then it's got pink glimmer, so it can't beat that. But it's a really pretty pink glimmer. Alright, so now I'm kind of just going to fill in certain little areas. My little birdie's going to go right there, so I'm trying to save a spot for him. Still curling. I kind of just got to decide where I want my curly cues to go. Excuse my fingernails. Brooke painted my nails a while back, and she did an excellent job. So don't make fun of them. They're really gross right now. Alright, so I'm just kind of move my petals around. And the great thing about these Prima flowers is everybody knows already, but I'm just going to remind you. When you get them wet and they get all mushy, once you dry them, they come right back to life. So the shape comes back and everything, and they end up looking awesome. So I'm going to do one more of these big flowers off to the side here. Curl my wire. Don't waste the wires. Alright. So I'm going to glue that down. Oh man, I've got to get Carrie and the girls to come to Texas and do a class at the studio. Our studio sits comfortably 250 people in our classroom. The classroom sits 250 people. And it's really nice area, in old downtown Waxahachie, and there's like antique stores and all kinds of fun stuff over there. A lot of antique stores, I should say, and a lot of art boutiques. Like there's a mosaic place where you can make little mosaics, and it's the art district, so it's really cool. There's a lot of artsy stores there. And what's funny is our studio is right across from the old Rogers Hotel, which was, I think, on Ghost Hunters, because it's one of the most haunted places in Texas. And I have to admit, that place is really freaky. And I'm kind of wondering if Tanya ended up booking there. Is that where you booked, Tanya? So I'm just adding my little... Actually, for this flower, I'm kind of going to make a little bit of the wire showing, so it kind of looks like a stem. And then I'm going to bend up the wire like this, and then I'll tuck it under the flower like that. They're going to break ghost hunters. Alright, and this one's going to go right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bend the wire so it kind of looks like a stem. And then I'll glue this guy down. So same idea. I'm sticking down the end here. And I always glue the butt of the head down too, because you don't want it to fall off of your little layout there. And then I think I'm going to do one more right up here maybe. Yeah, I think right up there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to bend it right about there. Oh, a Prima bus would be fun. I'm going to be nagging at you, Carrie, to come and teach there now. FYI. When your schedule lets you. Alright. And I'm going to tuck this right under this flower right there. Alright, so I think that's right about where I want everything. So you can kind of see the textured paste in the background is just kind of a little extra. And you can even make that a different color. This is kind of a little bit drowned out because I use the same color Glimmer Mist. But you can darken them too if you want to. Or use a green or make fake pasty leaves or something like that would be cool too. So just keep in mind that this is supposed to be a picture there. And then now I'm going to get my clock faces out. And for the clocks, all I'm doing is I'm just going to tuck them in to my flowers. And what I did to my original one was I took some a distress pad, a Tim Holtz distress pad, and some brown StazOn, and I made the face of it look really dingy. So that's just another idea if you don't want it to look as white or as new. But I love, love, love how Prima makes all their products, because this paint on here is kind of has like a primer finish, so it takes the ink pretty well. So I'm going to tuck that right in there. One right there. And then I'm going to take one of these smaller ones. Take two of the smaller ones. And I think I'm going to tuck one. Actually, I'm going to tuck the small one in right here, but I'm only going to glue one side down because I'm going to want to tuck my photo underneath it later. So I'm going to stick that one right there. And then this medium-sized one I'm going to stick probably somewhere in here. So get a bunch of glue on there. And these metal pieces are excellent because I know I've used metal pieces before that were thicker metal and they were super heavy and they kind of just weighed down the paper. Especially if I hung it up, they were always ending up being the first ones to fall off. These are really, really lightweight, so they end up looking really good. I'm tucking that one right in there. I'm going to hold it down a little bit because this one's kind of on a bump. So I'm holding that one down. And now I'm going to grab my little birdies. I got to hold these down for a second before they fall off. Alright. And I'm going to add a little birdie. And I kind of want one that's facing that way, but I already used on the original, so it's not a big deal. I'll use this 2D tie up here. Get off there. So these are kind of cool because if you don't have adhesive, when you pull them off, if you pull them off gently, there's really, really strong adhesive on the back of these that work great if you're just going to stick them down to a flat surface. So I'm going to stick this little guy right in here. And I'm just using whatever adhesive, see, look, I just used whatever adhesive was on the back of him. It's sticking on there really, really good. So I've stuck my little birdie down there, and then later on I can peel him back up and then stick my photo under there. So there's that guy, and then if you wanted to, you could even do a couple more little birds coming out of here somewhere. Would be cute. Like that. Alright, so there's my birds, and then I've got my stick pins that I'm going to stick in there. I'm using the stamp one and then the little bike deal. I'm going to stick one up in here just like I did on the original layout, and I'm going to put some glue on the back of this one just in case. Now, these are metal and they're really sharp, so you want to make sure you're very careful when you use these. So I'm sticking this guy right up here. Make sure he shows a little bit. We're kind of bulkifying our little area here. Now for the bike, I can't really stick the bike like that, so I guess he kind of has to go upright a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the needle, and then I'm going to stick him through my paste flower and underneath this wire just so I can make the bike a little bit upright. So see, I stuck him right through my pasty flower, and you can't even tell that it's under there. And then I can kind of move him while the paste is still wet. Or you could even just poke a hole through the paper and have it go in. Oops, go in through the back of the paper. Okay, now it's showing because I accidentally bumped it. Darn it. That's okay because I can fix it right now. Oh, it kind of made a mess. That's alright. I'm going to grab some more of that paste with my paintbrush handle, and I'm just going to cover it up a little bit because I accidentally lifted it up a little. So for my paste, I just use plaster of Paris and glue, depending on what kind of plaster you use. This is like the industrial plaster that you use like on houses, so it tends to dry a little bit slower than like the plaster of Paris that you would use to fix stuff at home. So just be aware of that, and I'm just going to spray it just to tint it a little bit. Alright, so now you're going to get your canvas pieces out. I'm going to set this aside for a little bit. You're going to get your canvas pieces out, and I'm going to use, I used the one that looks like this last time. Looks like a little pendant shape, but this time I'm going to use a different one. So I'm going to hold these out so you guys can see all of them. Now, these are not stickers, so don't try to peel off the back because they feel like they might be stickers, but there's just a paper backing, so for one, you can glue it down, and two, to make it a little bit stiffer, so beware. So I'm just going to pick out a pattern that I like, and I'm going to spray a few of these so you can kind of see what they look like when you spray them, because they're super cool. Let me spray. Where's that one I just saw? This is the one I used, I believe, on the original. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to use Starfish to spray it. So once the resist kicks in, it's so cool! Alright, I'm going to flip it over and kind of smash it around under there. Isn't that cool? And when it dries, that white shows up even better. So there's one. You can kind of see it looks red. Really, really pretty design. And then I'll spray a few more so you can kind of see what they end up looking like. Here's a scrolly looking one. So it's kind of like magic because when the glimmer mist finally seeps in, you get to see the resist even better. And you can kind of wipe it off of the resist so you can see a little bit better. But as it dries, it gets whiter and whiter, and I'll show you these at the end of the show so you can see how much they're actually going to show. See, this one's already getting even whiter. Isn't that cool? Let's see, which other one should I spray, guys? How about this one? I want you guys to see a few of the patterns at least. This one's super cool. I like this one a lot. So can you see this one? It's got a cute little frame. There's that one, and then how about we spray a couple with a different color? Let's use the rose tea on another one. Let's see what this one looks like. Because you can't really see, it's kind of a surprise, because you can't really see what it's going to end up looking like. Oh, missed a little corner there. This one's really, really subtle. You can kind of see. It's pretty though. We'll do one more, and then I'll stick it on my layout. How about this one? I'm going to spray it with the red so you can see it a little bit better. For the starfish, I mean. These are so pretty. Right, so there's that one. Aren't they cool? Uh-oh. Are we still... Can you guys still see me okay? I'm frozen somehow. Alright, so there's that. And then I think I'm going to use the original one that I used on the original layout just because I like this shape. And don't worry if they curl up, because you can dry, when you dry these, they'll uncurl. And then what I did on my original one, because you don't want to write on these with a pen, especially a really inky pen like I like to use, before you treat it. So you're going to have to, what I do is I cover the whole thing with matte medium, and then when it dries, I use a permanent marker over it. You don't want to do it raw on here, because if you take a pen to this, it's just going to bleed into the canvas, and it's going to look really, really, really nasty, and you're just going to waste the piece. So wait for this to dry, and then treat it with some matte medium or any kind of sealer like Mod Podge or glossy accents or anything that's going to seal it. You could even use Elmer's glue, works great for sealing stuff. And then I'm going to stick this right down there. Oh, I forgot that I already have this pennant on there, so I want to change this up a little bit and use a different label. How about this one? So I'm going to stick this one right down here, right underneath my bike there. So I'm going to glue this sucker down, and then when it dries, then I'll treat it and write a little title on there. I always put a title on my layouts. Well, most of the time I do. I used to not ever put titles on my layouts, but then I had kids and I decided I want to remember everything that was special about the moment, so now I put titles on everything. So I'm just going to hold this down for a second and let it tack. It's going to be all curled up for a while, but that's okay because it's going to put itself back together once it dries. Alright, so that's down, and I moved my darn bike again. So you'll put your title there, and that's pretty much what it ends up looking like. You just got to add your picture. I did a picture up here, and then I did a little tiny Fine Pix Polaroid picture right down here. That was kind of cool. And then don't forget, you still have these flowers here, and it would be a shame to let these go to waste, so I'm going to show you really quick what I like to do with them. I peel them apart, just so I could reposition them a little bit. And put some glue in the middle. Don't ever let these go to waste. I know everyone cringes when I start tearing Prima flowers apart. I can't help it. The altering is in my blood. Alright, and then I'm going to take my leftover white ones too and put a little bit of glue right in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to make a little bed, and I'm going to crunch the bottom up a little bit, and this is how I'm going to make another little flower bed with my leftover torn off petals. Okay, and then put a little bit of glue on the bud again. And then stick that other piece that we tore off with some of them right over the back. And hold it all together. Alright, so that's what it ends up looking like. And then I'm going to glue this to the middle of my black flower. And then you could spray this black to match the rest of the flower, or you can use whatever color you've got handy. So I kind of like to do two-tone stuff. So I'm gluing it down to my back piece here. And I just can't bring myself to waste the extra petals, so that's why I'm showing you this. And then you could spray it black to match the rest of the flower, or you could change it up a little bit and use a different color. I'm going to do the starfish color on there. Just make a two-toned, funky little flower. Do a little more in the middle. So there's a fun new little flower that you just can make with your extra scraps. And you can use it on a tag or something later, even though it's kind of lonesome by itself. I don't know if you can really see it too well. I'll hold it up for a little bit. And I think we're going to pick a winner tonight, as usual. And you can see some white that I missed there, so I'm just going to spray it really quick. You don't want any white showing on this guy. So kind of fun. So save your petals and use it for that. And then there's the layout, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully I'll be able to do a makeup on the next show, show you the masks, the Prima masks, because those are so cool with texture paste. I just could not find the darn mask. Or maybe I'll do a YouTube video and put it on the educator blog or something. So there's the layout. You'll put a picture there and then a little picture down there. And it comes with all these goodies. And of course, as usual, even though it's just one layout, you're going to have tons of extras in this kit to make lots and lots and lots more layouts. So if you're a retailer and you're carrying this kit, or you'll be carrying the romance novel line again, post your links so everybody knows where to go. And don't forget about the art venture in January. It's going to be so much fun. I don't want you guys to miss out on that. Like I said, it's going to be me, Heidi Swap, Lisa Gibbons is going to be hosting it. I think Nick Howard and Janine are going to be there, and a few other teachers. Carrie, can you give us a complete list of all the teachers? Let me look it up. I know I've got it somewhere here. I think there's 6. There's 6 teachers that are going to be there. So you're not going to want to miss it. It's in Palm Springs, so you can work on your tan. Actually, it's still going to be kind of a little chilly in January, but it's California, and it's Southern California, so it's not going to be bad compared to the rest of the world or the rest of the United States. So I hope I get to meet some of you guys there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to visit me on my blog or the Prima Educator blog. My post is coming up soon, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, I didn't get a private message. Oh, are you talking about the winner, Carrie? We picked a winner. Check your private messages, ladies. And I'll give you a little close-up of this paper. Now, these colors look really bright right now in comparison to the background, but it's because the Glimmer Mist is still wet on the flowers. When this dries, it'll lighten up to this color here. So keep that in mind.